Right, I'm Simonia. I'm with the Treatment Action Campaign in South Africa, and we basically advocate for access to medicines in the public healthcare sector for everybody living with HIV, but now we've sort of included everybody in South Africa. So I've been with TEC for 2 years now, and I'm here to talk to you about the patient's perspective of local production and access to medicines, since as some of you may know, TEC is a membership-based organization, and most of our members are people living with HIV. So my presentation will focus a whole lot on HIV and access to ARVs. And I'll try to be very short through all of my 53 slides. So basically I'm just going to give a bit of a background of where we were and where we are now in terms of access to medicines in South Africa. In 2002, before ARVs were rolled out and before we took to the streets as TSC, nobody was on ARVs in South Africa, and today we have over 1.7 million people on ARVs in the public healthcare sector. Vertical transmission of HIV was at 30% before 2002, and now it's at 2.5% because of ARVs. And before ARVs, 1,000 people were dying each day due to AIDS-related illnesses, and that number is now reduced by half to 500 people a day. It's still a lot, but 500 is definitely better than 1,000. The current tender was announced in December last year, and it is the biggest we've had in South Africa. It's worth $800 million US. It includes, for the first time, fixed dose ARVs. We now have, with the first line, I think it's the TDF and 3TC, and yeah, we've got the 1 pill a day now, finally. So, in the early 2000s, we rolled out ARVs in late 2003, early 2004 in South Africa, and it used to cost 5,000 rands per patient per month on ARVs. And now the price has gone down to less than 115 rands. That's about, in US dollars, it's about, how much? My mathematics is not very good. It's about 10 euros, yeah, more or less, give or take. So definitely the entry of generic competition has contributed a whole lot to reducing prices of medicines in South Africa. These are just more numbers. Basically, we've got 41 million people in South Africa who depend on the public healthcare system. The high prices of medicines is a big problem for us in South Africa, given the rising costs of healthcare and the fact that more and more people are getting access to healthcare, so we need more and more medicines available to people. In the public sector, medicines are not reported as a single line item, so we're not able to follow exactly how much we spend on medicines, but we know that they are the third highest cost in the private sector. And the price of medicines is slowly increasing for some reason these days. This is just the price, what different regimens cost per patient. You can notice that the price of third-line regimens for ARVs, and that's a discounted price, by the way. So where do we get our drugs in SA? The top 5 countries where we get our medicines are, alas, Germany, in that order, USA, France, India, and the UK. I'm not an economist, but the fact that India is number 4 tells us a whole lot about the type of medicines that we're spending money on in South Africa in the public healthcare system. Most medicines used in current ARV regimens are manufactured locally in South Africa, which has contributed to how there's a whole lot of competition with the local manufacturers, so the prices, we were able to drive the prices down. But however, all APIs for ARVs are imported. We do not produce APIs for ARVs in South Africa. We do produce a small amount of APIs for other drugs, but it's very limited. So we don't have we've got very limited production of generic active ingredients. So we've got a relatively large competitive generic pharmaceutical industry, and the Department of Health is now able to purchase very low cost first and second line ARV treatment through mainly locally based generic manufacturers. So I think today's low prices have been achieved through competition and through the fact that the competition is mainly local, I think. And that the tendering process has been generally fair and open. However, many newer and better ARVs are still not available in the public sector in South Africa, so we're still taking medicines that we were taking a few years ago that some other countries forgot even exist. So, and again, for many medicines in South Africa, it's not the fact that we're not producing APIs, but it's the fact that we don't have the licenses for manufacturing those medicines, generic manufacture of those medicines, and we don't sell them. So that's the problem for us. So the government, as a solution, has announced a joint venture with a Swiss company called Lonza, and they will set up a local API manufacturer that they will call Kitlaphela. Loosely translated, it means I will live, I think. So generic manufacturing companies in South Africa will be able to purchase their APIs from this Kitlaphela. And then what they said is that the initial focus will be on HIV drugs, and then they will move on to malaria, and later on they will move on to a wider range of diseases. So, but we're activists, so we always look for problems so that they can be fixed. So, without legislative reform of South Africa's Patents Act, it is likely that Kitlaphela's cost-saving potential will be undermined by strict patent barriers. So South Africa hasn't taken any of the TRIPS flexibilities into its laws. We're still waiting for the patents policy that we've been waiting for 2 years now. We're hoping to get it soon. We don't know, we get many reasons for why it hasn't come out yet. So again, if the joint venture is restricted to producing off-patent APIs or finished medicines, the company will just be roped into a part of the market that has already seen massive price reductions due to generic competition. So we'll be producing our own APIs of the things that we already have. So it's not possible that it's highly unlikely that they will drive prices any lower than they already are. So basically what we need now is for them to fix the law so that we get access to more medicines, so that they can produce APIs for something that we do not have, like more third-line regimens, more medicines for cancers, and other communicable diseases. So with that, I thank you, and that is my boy doing child labor.